Hey guys, welcome back to our third episode in our Unity tutorials. In this episode we're going to be learning how to create a pause menu in our game. So if you haven't seen the second episode where we learned how to pause the game, please go and watch that. I'll put the link in the description. We're going to be using the same project, so if you followed along with that, just open up that project and we will use that. So let's jump into Unity. So over here in the previous tutorial, all we did was add in a pause function. So if we go and click on our pause, if we go and take our pause function, what's it called, this block here, I don't know what it's called, but if we tick that, you'll see our game pauses. And if we go and untick it, it unpauses and the square continues on moving. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a pause menu. So whenever we pause our game, then we want this menu to show up with probably like a button to resume play. So let's go ahead and do that. So first of all, let's go ahead and create a new UI. We'll create a new panel, and then in this panel, zoom out. Over here we can go ahead and change from background to none, and then we'll change the background to probably, let's make it like a reddish, maybe like a dark red color probably. I don't know, you can make it whatever you want. It's just to get the main function, or the main idea of this is to get it to actually work. So in here on our panel, let's go ahead and create some text, and then for this we will call it pause menu, and then the actual text we will also say, well, let's say game paused. And then we'll make this slightly bigger, change the size to about 100, and then we'll go ahead and center that, change the color to white. Oh, wrong one. So just click on our text, and then we can move our text, probably do somewhere in the middle over here. And then all we want to do next is let's add in another button, or our first button shall I say. We'll make this a little bit bigger, put it in the middle over here. And then all we want to do is rename the button to play button. We shall change the text on our button from button to resume. Let's go ahead and change the font size to 140, and then we can change the text color to white, and then we'll change the background of our button to maybe like a dark blue color, like that maybe. Doesn't really need to look nice, just needs to work, so that's fine. And then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and create another script. We'll call this pause manager, and then what we need to do is we need to create an empty object. So we'll create an empty object and we'll call this pause manager as well. Just like that, and then we need to go ahead and add in our pause manager script onto that. So this way we will be able to create a function in our pause manager, and we will call this this method. Let's go ahead and call it public void resume, and then all we want to do in here is we want to say, well, first of all, we need to go back into our, we need to go into our canvas, go down to our button, and then here we'll scroll down to our button in the inspector, and then on this on-click event we'll go and add in another one by dragging in our pause menu, and then where it says no function, we'll scroll down to pause menu and click resume. So whenever we click on the button, it will trigger this resume function, which is this one here that we just created. So in here we want to disable our entire panel, and then also we want to switch our is paused boolean here in our move function in our move script, and we want to change that to false. So to do that we need to get some references. So in here let's go and say serializable field, we wanted this to be a game object and this to be our panel. and then we also want our square. So let us go and copy that, and we'll change our panel to square. And then in our resume function, all we have to say is, let's go and say panel dot set active false. So that's going to disable our panel and get rid of it completely. And then under that we want to go and say square dot get component. We want to get our move script off of that, and then we want to say dot is paused is equal to false. So just like that. So what that's going to do is, the first one is going to disable our panel, the second line is going to go onto our square and get the move script off of it and set the is paused variable, or boolean in this case, to false. So go ahead and save that. Then what we can do is, let's just see if this is all fine. So we added a pause, or where's it, our play button here. Okay, so that's fine. So now what we want to do is, first of all, we want to go into our move. Well, first of all, we'll probably have to create another script just to make this a little bit more tidy. So let's go and create another third script, and we'll call this, actually we'll just do this in our pause manager because it makes more sense. It's all to do with pausing the game. So let's go delete that, and then in our update, or in our pause manager, we'll go and add in our update method, and then we'll say if input dot get key code dot escape. Well, let's see, why is that not working? So it needs to be capital key code dot escape, wherever it is. Oh, I missed it. Clearly have somewhere. There it is. Keycode dot escape. So if we press our escape button, all we want to do is we want to say square dot set active, well, not set active, sorry, square dot get component, and our move script off of that dot is paused, not is active, is paused is equal to true. But then all we also want to do is we want to set our panel to true, sorry, set active is equal to true. So let's go ahead and save that. And then in our inspector, let us play this and see if this works. Okay, something has, okay, so clearly our panel has moved down slightly. So I'll go ahead and pop that back in the center. Okay, so if we play our game now, you'll see that our, okay, so let's see what happened. Panel of pause manager has not been assigned. Pause manager. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag in our panel into our pause manager as well as our square. Cool. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and disable our panel. So if we go and play our game, we should see that our square is moving from left to right on the screen. There it is. And if we press our pause button, we get our pause menu, and if we press resume, we go back to our game. But just to make sure that this is actually working, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our pause manager. We will set it active quickly, and then we'll add some transparency to it so that we can see our square in the background just to see if it's working or not. Let's go ahead and disable that. So if we play our game now, you shall see our square move from left to right. If we pause our game, our square stops moving in the background. We get our pause menu, and then we have a button here to resume the game. So if we press our resume, you see the panel gets dismissed and our square now moves from left to right once again. If we press escape again, same thing happens. The square stops, and then you can press resume and then everything works fine. So that is it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like this video. We'll have a lot more tutorials coming for you in the future. I upload a new tutorial every Monday. Please go ahead and subscribe, and so you don't miss out on the next tutorial. But if you enjoyed it, I hope you have a very nice day for the rest of the day, and I will see you in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your day.